All right, everyone, here we go with the notes for Chapter 24, your voiceover identity. Talking in this chapter about figuring out who you are and then how to market yourself based on that, some of the things that you need to consider. Managing your voiceover business requires at least some degree of specialized knowledge in an increasingly broad range of activities, even if that knowledge is only an awareness of something you do not know how to do, but which you also know must be done. A professional is someone who knows how to delegate those duties for which they are not an expert. So we've talked a lot in this class about your skill set, your signature voice, the things that you are able to do well. But as we talk about things on the business side, we're also talking about certain mindsets that you need to have in running a business. And a lot of that can be daunting for some people. The thing to realize, though, is that we're all not proficient at all things. Just as we say you have a signature voice and there's certain aspects of voice acting that you're going to be better at than others, there's going to be certain aspects of running a business that you're going to be better at than other aspects as well. And it's okay to admit those things, and it's okay to seek help for those things, to basically farm out whatever sort of tasks that you do not excel at. But it is important to make sure that they get done. And the goal overall is that you show yourself to be a professional. Voice actor Paul Frees says you must be a professional long before you achieve the profession. Your attitude will carry you through, even if you're not getting hired. What he's saying here is that you have to have that presence. You have to have that attitude of knowing who you are, what you're able to do, your confidence level in those things, and being able to interact with your clients and with the public at large. Because if you don't exude that, you are not going to be seen as a professional, and therefore you are not going to be able to be the actual professional that you've trained and you have the skills to be. Defining your business. You want to position yourself in the voiceover marketplace. And the way to do that is that there's two different things that you can set up that will allow you to be set apart from others that do the same things that you do. In other words, what makes you different from the competition, from other voice actors that are out there. And you should recognize these terms. They should be reviewed for you. But the first term is the unique positioning statement, the UPS. This is a short 1 or 2 sentence statement that clearly defines what you do, for whom you do it, and your unique solution to an urgent need. Who you are, what you do, for whom you do it, i.e. your clients, and what makes you stand out. What is your unique positioning statement? The second element is a USP, or a unique selling proposition. This is a refinement of that UPS statement, and what you're doing here is you're basically wording things to say, use my service and you will get this specific benefit. The essence of the USP can then be crafted into a slogan that can be anything from a single word to a short phrase. So they kind of sound very similar. In many ways they are. What's the difference between the two? Your positioning statement is intended for you to help give your business focus. It's what many organizations will call their vision statement or their mission statement. So that's your positioning statement. That's kind of that, your purpose, why you exist, why your business exists. Your selling proposition is for your clients to help them remember you and keep you top of mind. Think of it as kind of a creative way of putting a spin on your unique, your UPS statement. So when you're talking about putting together your positioning statement, you're talking about setting up your vision, your mission, who you are, defining that for yourself. Your selling proposition, your USP, is to help you to be able to communicate that positioning statement in a way that benefits the client and helps them to see the value that you bring to the table. All right, let's talk about your visual brand. Now, what we're talking about here is your overall way of putting yourself out there and creating some sort of an identity for yourself. Let's talk in terms of your visual image. Your visual image is another important part of your marketing campaign and should reflect your individual personality. It can help set you apart from the crowd, and ultimately it can work towards establishing you as a brand name in the world of voiceover. What we're saying here is that the way that you put yourself out there with your image, your uniqueness, the things that you have to offer that are distinct, is going to contribute to your overall brand and make it so that the service that you provide and your name become synonymous with each other. That visual image should be consistent in all printed materials and carry through to your website. So the way that you present yourself out there, whether you use your photo and your likeness, whether you use some sort of a logo of some type, the way that you present yourself in terms of your abilities and your unique spin on those abilities, the way that you put yourself out there like that should be consistent in every type of marketing that you do for yourself, in every opportunity that you have to introduce yourself, in every way that you present your skills and put your best foot forward, from your website to your demo to your to anything else that you have. It all needs to have that same consistent message and feel to it. You can create your own UPS and USP and slogan by taking a close hard look at what you do, who you do it for, and what makes you different. So how do you come up with that? You know, this idea, it's almost kind of that idea of finding yourself, if you will, some self-actualization. You do this by close examination. And once you take that critical, objective look at yourself, and you're very real with what you can do and what you're striving to be, only by close examination will you be able to discover what makes you unique from other voice talent in your area. Are you really strong at that authoritative sound? Are you more of a comedic sound? How's your timing? Are you able to perform certain accents, characterizations? Is that your strong suit? Whatever it may be that you excel at and that you can put a very different, unique, quality sort of spin on, that is what is going to really help you to determine what you bring to the table and how you market yourself. So once you discover what that uniqueness is, you want to write it out in a few sentences that describes it clearly and concisely. So in my case, if I was to explain who is Fred Brucker, voice actor, I need to think about what I would say in kind of nice, concise language that tells somebody exactly what it is I can do and what I have to offer. And I need to be very honest and real about that, not to embellish and make promises that I can't deliver on, but to do it in such a way that I can say, this is what my unique voice and my unique skill set can bring for you, the person that needs a voice actor. Now, setting up shop. If you are going to be in the business of voice acting, you are going to need to dedicate an area of your home for your studio and for your office. The purpose of setting up a formal office area is so that you can really keep yourself in the mindset of handling your voiceover work as a business. There is something about the physical space that you set aside that says, when I am in this room, when I am sitting at this desk, I am in the mode of working. Not to mention that it provides a physical logistic for anything that you need in terms of being able to keep track of your clients. If you have notebooks or computers, any sorts of equipment that you have that in all in that physical space, that's also very helpful just for putting yourself in the mindset of working when you are in that physical area. The record keeping and organizational aspects of a business become increasingly important as you begin generating income for your voiceover work. There are also certain tax advantages to setting up a formal business. And for these things, we're talking about like certain deductions that you can take for, if you have a room that is completely dedicated to voice acting, if you have equipment that is completely dedicated to what you do for work. It's not something you use for both business and pleasure. These are things that are truly business related and truly business expenses. Now, we're not going to get a lot into detail on the logistics of how that works and what you need to do, partly because tax laws change all the time, and I am not a tax attorney. Therefore, if you are someone that needs help in determining those sorts of things, the tax codes and the IRS rules and everything just scare you off, then you definitely want to consult a accountant or a tax advisor to help you keep those things straight and know exactly what you need to do and how to do those things. Some necessities for client communication. First off, you need a cell phone. There's literally dozens of smartphone apps that can help you with many aspects of your voiceover business. And if you have a decent quality enough phone, you can even record directly onto your phone and upload those agents or clients the work that you have done. Now, a lot of later generation iPhones and growing number of Android smartphones have some pretty decent quality mics to them. And if you have good enough recording and editing software on your phone, you might just be able to do some things on the fly with your phone. And then, of course, there's the ability to receive messages and phone calls from those that are looking for work as well. Looking for you to work, I should say. An answering machine, voicemail, or some other type of service. Make sure you check for new messages frequently, especially when you get an agent. Don't let a voicemail just sit around. You want to have some sort of a window in which you are going to respond to any calls that you missed. I would suggest absolutely no less than 24 hours. For any kind of call, but there's some calls that may be urgent enough, especially in the voice acting business, where you need to be able to respond to that call within a matter of hours or even minutes. So make sure that you're keeping up to date with those messages. One side note, you may want to consider getting a second phone number to allow you to separate business calls from personal calls and have a separate business voicemail that is distinct from your personal voicemail. There's all sorts of different services that are out there that allows you to do that. One that's free is Google Voice. You can have phone calls forwarded to another phone number. You could keep those lines separate so that you have a separate voicemail for your Google Voice and for your regular phone number. But there's all sorts of other types of services out there that offer different features and perks, from free services to ones that you pay a subscription for. Business cards, letterhead, and envelopes, also very important. Your business card is the first and the best introduction to you and the talent that you have, followed closely by your demo. It's very easy to have a number of business cards with you at all times, and give that information out to people as you're out and about, to be able to do networking when you hear of different opportunities that might be coming along. Give that business card out. And when you have business cards, you want to make sure that important information is on that card. Your name's got to be on there. A telephone number is going to be on there. You also want your email address and your website on the business card. And you want to make sure that when you have business cards put together, you want to keep the design clean and simple. You don't want to overdo the artwork on a business card. You don't want to put too much information on a business card. There are some people that will use the back of business cards to maybe do a quick bullet list of different types of services that are being offered, and things like that. And that's okay. But in terms of at least the front of the business card, you want to make sure that the basic contact information is nice and clean, very easy to read. Those of you that do any sort of graphic design or desktop publishing probably know the term white space, which basically means that it's very easy on the eyes to look at either a print document or something on a screen and be able to see the content without a lot of cluttered content that gets into the way. Also make sure that if you have a slogan or a logo, make sure that is on there prominently. Again, not so that it takes away from the contact information that you want people to have, but it's another way for them to be able to associate you with what it is that you do. Thank you notes are important, and a lot of people overlook this one. Sometimes, taking a card and just saying, thanks for the opportunity to meet with you, thanks for the opportunity to audition, sending that off in the mail, it takes 30 seconds and a 55-cent stamp to take care of that. And it's something that can leave a good feeling with a producer or a client. At the very least, it shows your engagement and your willingness and your eagerness to serve them. Newsletters and postcards. Content usually includes a brief description of recent projects and clients whenever you put a newsletter out. Sometimes other interesting information, especially if you're really good at creative writing. You might be able to tell a funny story or share an experience that you had. And that helps to keep those lines of communication and engagement open. The sole purpose of the newsletter or the postcard is to keep your name in front of the talent buyer. So it's another element that you send out. Newsletters can be by mail or by email. Postcards, obviously, a little cheaper element than like a normal greeting card or something like that. But again, you don't want to bombard people, but the occasional monthly or quarterly note that you send through the mail can very much mean the difference between you being considered for work and being put into oblivion. Finally, blogs and social networking websites. Most blogs are associated with a website. Many times these days, especially if you use a service like WordPress, where the blog tends to be a more prominent feature on the website. Sometimes it is the website itself. You can tailor those things in such a way that it helps to be a continual stream of helping people know what you're up to and what you're doing. Social networking sites do the same thing, but putting yourself onto the various platforms that are out there. It allows for communication on a broader scale, with people being able to follow you, like you, those sorts of things. And if you put content out there on social media, you can obviously have people hopefully like the content that you're putting out there, share that with others, and that just increases your reach whenever that happens. So let's take a break here, and we will continue with the rest of the chapter with the second half of the video for chapter 24.